So as you guys probably know by now, Donald Trump just spoke at the CPAC meeting, and Vox came out with a very odd reaction to it. I mean, not that I expected anything different from Vox, but their take on it was that Donald Trump and the Republican Party are trying to dismantle democracy. That's right, guys. The same party that wants you to wear 2 masks, 3 masks, 4 masks for 5 years, 10 years, maybe the rest of your life, just to be extra safe. And also the party that wants to close down your business and give you stimulus checks because you can't make your own money, you need the government to do that for you. Oh, and I'm a broke college student. I love stimulus checks. I love free money. But if I were a business owner, yeah, maybe not the best because, I just lost my livelihood. But here's $600, guys. But nah, Trump's the one that wants to dismantle democracy. The guy that's not even a politician, that was sick of politicians, so he ran for office. And when people hear me speak, they're so quick to label me as a Trump supporter and as a racist and as a homophobe. But here's the thing. I don't even consider myself a Trump supporter. I just don't agree with lies, deception, twisting the narrative, and virtue signaling. Just taking the moral high ground every time you're wrong, so that way you can seem like you're the better person. I don't think it's a bad thing to want lower taxes and to avoid having a sky-high minimum wage that not every business can afford in America, which will just lead to inflation anyways, so you'll be paying more. The only thing that's going to change with that would be higher unemployment rates. But yeah, I'm not really seeing where Trump wants to dismantle democracy. I've never seen that with any of his policies. If anything, he's given us more freedoms to make our own decisions and have our own responsibility. And I'm not saying Trump was perfect by any means, but if you're comparing that to that of Biden, Biden is there just to serve the radical left. The radical left wants socialism. They want to get rid of fossil fuels in 10 years with no clear path on how to do that, other than making more electric cars. Also, Trump had policies in place that made America self-sufficient. We didn't need to rely on other countries to get some of our goods. But Biden went ahead and signed like 37 executive orders, which took all those out of the picture, including the Keystone XL pipeline. And yes, I know pipelines can spill and I know there's risks, but either way, we were going to supply hundreds of thousands of jobs with that for constructing the pipeline, and they were going to try and make it as safe as possible. But there goes those Democrats again, always focusing on the negative side of things. Unless, of course, there are more negatives than there are positives. In that case, they're all for it, i.e. lockdowns. But going back to Vox's story, they said that the Republican Party is the biggest threat to American democracy today. It is a radical, obstructionist faction that has become hostile to the most basic democratic norms. Do you hear that, guys? It's almost like they are talking about themselves. But what evidence do they have to back their claims? Well, they say that if you believe in voter fraud or any forms of it, you don't believe in democracy. This is such a joke. This is coming from the same party that said in 2016, Russia rigged the election. And then they bring up the Capitol raids because it was fine when BLM was destroying businesses, burning down people's homes, and just killing people in the streets. That was fine. But you go into a Capitol? Ooh, come on now. Hey, doesn't it make a little more sense too? I mean, BLM was destroying black-owned businesses. I even showed it to you in the last video. But Republicans go to the, Capitol, the place where politicians are, where they believe there's something wrong. I mean, at least they make a little more logical sense, right? And then for one of their last points, they say that Republicans simply don't like compromise and they don't like meeting in the middle. Well, you see, these are done by surveys composed by Vox. So the most biased media company ever is conducting these surveys and just saying, yeah, Republicans suck, look at our surveys. Well, that's a big surprise because when Ted Cruz wanted to work with AOC, she said that he tried to have her murdered instead of just trying to work with him. Because to Democrats, disagreement means inciting violence. Clearly, that's why they tried to impeach a guy that was already out of office. Using your taxpayer money, by the way. Oh, and there's a politician out there, you may have heard of her. Her name is Nancy Pelosi. She loved compromise, especially with Donald Trump. CNN even called her out and was like, hey, we need stimulus checks. And she was like, we're not going to let Donald Trump sign his name on those and get credit for it before the election. What a witch. She would rather let millions of Americans starve than just compromise with the President of the United States if she doesn't like him. But that is all I have for this video. Do not let the media fool you. The only reason why the media is so passionate about tearing down the Republican Party and tearing down Donald Trump is because Democrats like to play dirty. They have zero morals. If they have to call a certain network and have someone lose their job for reporting something negative about them, that's what they'll do. They do not care. But leave a like if you enjoyed this video and subscribe for more content just like this. And I'll see you in the next upload.